Iraq is a country in the Middle East, and it's located between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. This region is called Mesopotamia, which literally means the land between the rivers. It's often referred to as the cradle of civilization, and for good reason. I mean, this is where some of the world's very first cities began to emerge. The Sumerians were among the earliest civilizations to develop in Mesopotamia. They built impressive cities like Ur and Uruk, names that still echo through history. The Sumerians were incredibly innovative. They developed writing, mathematics, and even studied the stars through early astronomy. After them came other powerful empires. The Babylonians, under King Hammurabi, created one of the earliest known codes of law, something that really helped shape organized society. And then there were the Assyrians, who were famous for their military strength and conquests. Mesopotamia wasn't just a place of power, it was a crossroads of trade and culture. Its inventions and ideas didn't just stay local, they spread far and wide, influencing the ancient world in profound ways. The story of Iraq really begins way back in ancient Mesopotamia. This incredibly fertile land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers was, honestly, the birthplace of civilization as we know it. The Sumerians, who showed up around 3500 BC, are credited with some pretty amazing achievements. They invented writing, cuneiform to be exact, the wheel, and even early forms of mathematics. It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. They built grand cities like Ur, which were known for their ziggurats, those towering temples that reached up toward the heavens. The Sumerians also developed advanced irrigation systems to grow their crops and created beautiful art and literature that still captivates scholars today. After the Sumerians, the Babylonians came into the picture. Their most famous king, Hammurabi, is remembered for his code of law, one of the earliest written legal systems in history. This code was carved into a stone pillar and laid out specific punishments for different offenses, helping to maintain order in Babylonian society. Then came the Assyrians, who were known for their military might. They built a vast empire that stretched across much of the Middle East, and their kings were, well, pretty ruthless in battle. The legacy of these ancient civilizations is still felt in Iraq today. Their innovations, their ideas, and their cultural accomplishments laid the groundwork for what would eventually become Western civilization. After the decline of the Roman Empire, a new and powerful force began to rise in the Middle East: Islam. In the 7th century AD, the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad spread rapidly, uniting the Arabian Peninsula under a single transformative faith. The Islamic Empire expanded quickly, and it came to include Mesopotamia within its vast territory. In the 8th century, the city of Baghdad was founded. It soon became the capital of the Abbasid Caliphate and honestly a vibrant center of learning, culture, and trade. Under the Abbasid Caliphs, Baghdad truly flourished. This period is known as the Islamic Golden Age, and it was a time of incredible intellectual and cultural growth. Scholars from all over the Islamic world came to Baghdad, drawn by its famous libraries and universities. They translated ancient Greek and Roman texts into Arabic, preserving classical knowledge that might have otherwise been lost. Baghdad became a hub for scientific and philosophical inquiry. Muslim scholars made groundbreaking contributions in media group, ancient astrolabe and geometry tools, reenactments of scholars performing calculations at distribute_equally, mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and more. The hospitals in Baghdad were among the most advanced in the world, and its astronomers were mapping the stars with astonishing precision. The Islamic Golden Age really showed the power of knowledge and cultural exchange. Baghdad stood as a shining beacon of enlightenment during the Middle Ages, and its legacy still inspires us today. For centuries, Iraq was part of the vast Ottoman Empire. The Ottomans, a Turkish-speaking dynasty, ruled over a realm that stretched from North Africa all the way to the Middle East. They actually brought a kind of stability to Iraq after, well, centuries of turmoil. During World War I, the Ottoman Empire sided with Germany and Austria-Hungary. Meanwhile, the British, aiming to protect their own interests in the region, launched a military campaign in Mesopotamia. After a series of hard-fought battles, the British captured Baghdad in the year 1917. After the war, the Ottoman Empire collapsed. The League of Nations then granted Great Britain a mandate over Iraq. This basically meant that Britain was now responsible for governing Iraq and preparing it for independence. The British Mandate period was a time of both progress and unrest. On one hand, the British built schools, hospitals, and key infrastructure. But on the other hand, they faced growing resistance from Iraqi nationalists who deeply resented foreign rule. After World War II, the call for independence grew louder across the Arab world. In 1945, Iraq joined the newly formed United Nations. This was, without a doubt, a major step toward achieving its own sovereignty. Then, in 1958, the Iraqi monarchy was overthrown in a military coup led by Abdul Karim Qasim. Qasim declared Iraq a republic and promised a new era of progress and, social justice. But his rule didn't last long. In 1963, Qasim was overthrown and killed in yet another coup, this time led by the Ba'ath Party. The Ba'ath Party, a secular Arab nationalist group, embraced socialist ideology and aimed to modernize Iraq. The early years of Ba'athist rule were filled with political instability and internal power struggles. Still, one figure began to rise steadily through the ranks: Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein, a ruthless and ambitious politician, slowly but surely consolidated his power within the Ba'ath Party. Then in 1979, he became president of Iraq, marking the start of a brutal dictatorship. Saddam ruled Iraq with an iron fist. He silenced dissent, eliminated his rivals, and cultivated a climate of fear throughout the country. Using Iraq's oil wealth, he funded a massive military buildup, aiming to make Iraq the dominant power in the region. In 1980, Saddam launched a devastating war against neighboring Iran. The Iran-Iraq war dragged on for 8 long years, costing hundreds of thousands of lives. It ended in a stalemate, leaving both nations deeply scarred. Then in 1990, Saddam invaded Kuwait, a small but oil-rich country to Iraq's south. This bold move triggered the Gulf War, a US-led military intervention that swiftly forced Iraqi forces out of Kuwait. After the US-led invasion, Iraq entered a new and incredibly challenging chapter. The fall of Saddam Hussein created a power vacuum that, unfortunately, led to years of instability and violence. The US and its allies did try to rebuild Iraq's institutions and infrastructure, but they were up against a complex and ever-changing insurgency, one driven by sectarian tensions and the presence of foreign fighters. Then came the rise of the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, or ISIS, a brutal terrorist group that posed a serious threat to the country's stability. In 2014, ISIS seized control of large areas of Iraq, committing atrocities and displacing millions. With support from international partners, Iraqi forces eventually defeated ISIS and liberated the occupied territories. But the challenges didn't end there. Iraq still struggles with political corruption, economic difficulties, and the lingering threat of terrorism. And yet, despite everything, there is hope. The country has made real progress, rebuilding infrastructure, strengthening democratic institutions, and working toward national reconciliation. The Iraqi people have shown incredible resilience in the face of so much adversity, and that honestly gives us all reason to believe in a brighter future for Iraq.